Well, hello. As she said before, I'm Elizabeth Johnson Phillips with EJ Creates Consulting, and here today we are here to learn how to use your words. I'm pretty sure that I know both the people attending and all of us, no matter what field you're in, you have to do some writing, whether it's emails, proposals, case studies, maybe someone's writing the great American novel. I don't know. Everyone has writing, and on the one hand, I would like for everyone to get better at writing. On the other hand, I would like to continue to have a job. So I want us to land somewhere in the middle. Um, but as we go through this, my goals for today are for y'all to help us identify some of the obstacles that everyone faces when writing, whether you are new to wanting to do this yourself or whether you've written a book. We're all going to face some of the same obstacles. And also, I want us to learn some habits that help us overcome our fears, and why I foolishly think that I am equipped to teach you this. Lifelong struggler with imposter syndrome here, but apparently this is all true, not apparently. Actually, I graduated magna cum laude from the University of North Carolina, go Heels, with degrees in communications and creative writing, where I was published multiple times and a two-time winner of the prestigious Rubens and Steele writing prizes, some of which can be seen on my wall in a very, I don't know, it's kind of a totally thing to do, but whatever, here we are. I've studied writing with such notable authors as Doris Betts. She was actually my writing mentor in college. Russell Banks, Lauren Winter, Nick Brown, Marion Ginger, Bland Simpson, and Robert Goulrick. I am a member of James River Writers, and I am the storyteller in chief for EJ Creates Consulting LLC and the marketing manager of Proactive Information Management. So the first thing we want to do is think, why is the blank page so darn scary? And I want to confirm any reservations you guys might have about this, that if you look at that cursor and thinking it's mocking you, it is not just you. Tiffany can confirm that these slides were late, and that is because I didn't want to write them and I didn't know what to write. And well, I told her it was because I was working hard on them. And by working hard, what I meant was crying in the shower, doubting my existence, and also sometimes sitting on the edge of my bed, having an existential crisis and convincing myself I had nothing to say and was quite possibly a fraud. But also for normal people, the blank page is scary. And this is also good if you're trying to get, say, maybe a review from someone. The blank page is scary because it reminds us of homework. We don't know what to write. We aren't used to writing. And as previously mentioned, that blinking cursor is mocking us, and we are afraid we aren't good enough. All of these are true, and I like to remember these, particularly in working in marketing. I'm often asking other people for a review, and if I just say, could you please leave me a review, they're left with homework and they don't know what to write. So my advice in that perspective, or even if you're trying to get content from another person to then shape up, ask them a question that they are a subject matter expert in. I don't say, could you please leave us a review? How did we exceed your expectations? What was the best part of working with us? Ask a question that's not a yes or no answer, because most people can answer questions when asked. But, you know, it's like going to Baskin Robbins. I don't need 31 flavors. Just give me something simple and I can pick. But with all of these obstacles that everyone faces, what is the secret to writing well? To taking your inner thoughts, your inside thoughts, and formulating them for the outside world. It is scary. It is hard. Don't let anyone tell you that it's easy. In fact, if someone tells you that writing is easy for them, don't read anything they write, because it will be crap. It won't be good. Because there is no secret to writing well. There's not. So if you came to learn the secret to writing well today, yep, that's right, Laura, you will be disappointed. If there is a secret, it is so secret, I don't even know it. But every writer has Good habits. Every good writer has particular habits. In addition to staring off into the mid-distance and doubting themselves, um, you know, we all have good habits. And so you can commit to these habits and they will improve your writing. And the first one, every time I say this next one, I always get kickback. That's okay. It is still the first step and it's probably the most important. And that is habit number one is to read. If you do not read, you will not write well. You can't expect to write well if you aren't an avid reader. And like I said, reading wallpapers your brain with proper spelling and proper grammar. It broadens your vocabulary. You're able, whatever you want to write, read those types of books and ask questions as you read. Take notes on your phone. I am the biggest dork when I read. I take notes on my phone. I am cattier than the women on Sex and the City. I judge away. What do I like? What do I hate? What has made this book enjoyable? And are there certain books that I look forward to reading? Are there books that compel me to stay up late, to be rude to people I care about? Books that haunt me? And this is the number one reason why people tell me they don't read is because they don't have time to read. And I know that Laura in the audience knows my secret behind this, and I'll let you know, no one has time to read. I don't know anyone successful that actually has time to read. But I drive in a car, I cook food, I walk my dog, I work out, and sometimes I ignore my children. And what do I do during those times is I listen to audiobooks like a crazy person. Sometimes I even just lay in my bed with my AirPods on and am read to, like the toddler I am. And I can tell you Amazon Prime has free audiobooks included with their membership. Spotify Premium has audiobooks included, but it limits you to only 15 hours of listening a month. A basic Audible membership is $15 a month. It includes one title. And after you listen to that book, they'll offer you 3 credits for $45. And audiobooks range, some are just $10, some are like $37. So it ends up being in the wash a pretty good deal. The gold standard for me for easy and free listening of audiobooks is Libby. It connects to your library card and you can put up to 10 holds of audiobooks at a time. I once waited 16 weeks for The Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. It was worth it. But I have found that I typically will use my Audible membership for books that I've been waiting to come out or something that's very popular. When Tom Lake by Anne Pichette came out, I bought it on Audible. Some Adam Grant books and some more popular personal development books just came out. And they're not available at the library. I just found out a guy I went to high school with published a memoir so I am deluded enough to think that I will not be in it. But I'm going to buy that in Audible next month when my credit comes up. But you can filter things with genre. You can filter things by what's available now. It will show you those things. And I'll just let you know if you're ever looking for a book recommendation, feel free to find me on Instagram and DM me, and I will give them to you also. At the end of this presentation, there is a QR code that will take you to a resources page. And I actually, on my website, have an Excel spreadsheet that gives book recommendations. I also am going to give you right now my top 5. And these aren't necessarily my favorite books, but there's a reason why I chose them. So the reason why I chose these is Bird by Bird. I cannot recommend this book enough. It's referenced even by Ted Lasso, so you know it's good. But Anne Lamott is a brilliant essayist and memoirist, and this is her book on writing. It is funny, it is endearing, it is an easy read. And the next one is The Dutch House. Anne Pichette is a brilliant writer. She's probably some of the best prose out there. And I would say, look at the way she investigates families and relationship and the way parents and children relate to one another and siblings and how she deals with trauma. It's a really good one. Also, the audiobook is narrated by Tom Hanks. So That's a good one. Think Again by Adam Grant. If you buy it on Audible, it would be worth 17 times what you paid for it. It is hands down my most favorite personal development book ever. He encourages us to get excited when we are wrong, because we were wrong before, we just didn't know it. And now we can think again and change. So it's a really great thing. The Storyteller by Dave Grohl, member of Nirvana and lead singer of the Foo Fighters. You are going to fall in love with him, and you're going to hear stories from on the road and his friendship with Paul McCartney. His writing is simple. It's not flowery. It's but it still evokes emotion, and it's relatable. He grew up in Virginia and his mom was a public school teacher. I'm pretty sure you're going to think he would be your best friend. I know he would be mine. And the last one I recommend is The Lincoln Highway. And the reason why I recommend The Lincoln Highway is it alludes to a lot of great epic stories like the Odyssey and Homer, but also the real brilliance is each chapter is told from the different perspective of a different character in the story. So you have the opportunity to look at the craft of writing as a female, writing as a child, writing as a person that everyone's going to hate, writing from all these different perspectives. And lots of books do this, but not well. And Tolles does this really, really well. And it's just a very likable and human story. So your next habit to be an effective writer is discipline. And I have on here butts or knees. And that is because when my kids were little and it was time for dinner, they would want to run around and be crazy. But our rule was that they had to sit. They could choose their butts or they could choose their knees, but they had to sit. And so it is with writing. You can write in the morning. You can write at night. You can dictate to your phone. You can designate a spot on your back deck and have a special writing mug and a cozy blanket. You can type furiously into OneNote on your phone while sitting in your driveway, hiding from your children as soon as you get home from work. That is what I do. The spot does not matter at all. But the thing is, though, you got to do the thing. If you want to learn to play basketball, you don't expect to play games every day. You run drills, you shoot free throws. The same is with writing. So don't expect to get into the discipline of writing, don't expect every day to be writing on the thing you want to be writing on. The process, this is running drills, this is shooting free throws. In James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, he tells the story of a photography professor at the University of Florida. And to one half of the class, he gave the assignment. He said, this year, your grade will depend upon the quantity of the photographs you take. To the other half, he said, you're going to be graded on one quality photo. I want you to commit to quality. At the end of the semester, he discovered that the students decide simply to quantity. It did not matter if they were good photographs, but simply to quantity. Those had the higher quality photographs. And the reason is those were the students who felt freedom. They experimented, they risked doing it wrong, and they changed the way they did things, and they had more stuff to learn from. Whereas the other group spent a lot of time theorizing and speculating. And I know that I fall prey to thinking about my writing, talking about my writing, telling people about how I'm writing, but that actually isn't the same as putting pen to page. So if you write a whole bunch, you're probably not going to want to show it to anyone, most of it to anyone, but you will get better. And the more you write, the better your writing will get. And the crappy first drafts will get less crappy. And habit number 3 is to embrace the SFD. Just commit to having a sloppy first draft. Now, if you read the Anne Lamott Bird by Bird book, you will realize that most writers do not mean the word sloppy in SFD, but SFD is a common writing term amongst writers. Just commit to having just get it out, bleed onto the page. And if you're wondering what to write about, you can get writing prompts for these like writing drills you're doing every day. You can just Google writing prompts. And so the rules of physics apply to writing as well. An object of motion stays in motion. So we do not wait for inspiration. We show up for ourselves. And so just remember the lessons from quantity versus quality. Embrace the suck and the crappiness of your sloppy first draft. And again, at the end, there's going to be a QR code, and I have a list of my favorite writing prompts on my website as well. Your next lesson, now that we have our sloppy first draft, is to remember that writing is rewriting. If you're working on a big proposal or something, when you come to that stopping place, put it away for at least 72 hours. Don't look at it. When I did these slides, I sent them to Tiffany, and then yesterday I opened them up and I was like, well, this is horrible. Not horrible, but there were typos, things I had missed, and I had edited it before I sent it to her. And sometimes it's just too much. Churchill said the key to effective communication was brevity. Coco Chanel always advised to get dressed and then take one thing off. Sculptors start with a block and they create their masterpiece by hacking away all that is not the sculpture. So particularly when we write in a business setting, we are writing to win an argument or persuade something, to do something, or to buy something. And we think if we hit them with 5 points of our own awesomeness, they're going to cave. Undone. But what actually happens is they see a lot of words, they click delete, press next, or worse yet, just zone out. You're better served by choosing one well-crafted and beautifully articulated argument. And just to further hone in on less can be more, there's a very famous, it would not be a writing class if I didn't give you this example. There is a very famous writing exercise called to write the 6-word story. It's super hard, but the best example of it was by Hemingway, who, I mean, pretty good writer. I feel safe in saying that. And his 6-word story was for sale, baby shoes, never worn. Yeah, so you don't even know. It tells a story, but you're not quite sure what the story, but it invites the reader to try to figure it out. And as you do this, you want to show it, don't tell it. I always think when I hear a song that shows you the image of the thing, that's going to be better. Doris Betts, my writing professor, used to always say, if you can't do it in a mirror, don't put it on the page. You can say he was mad at me, but what if you show what his face looks like? Because if you describe it like that, then you can also describe how you're feeling in your body and how you're relating to that person versus if you just describe it that way. And also grant yourself some grace as you do this. And another habit of all writers is get a partner. After you've cleaned up your sloppy first draft a bit, find someone you can trust, someone who's going to ask you questions, someone who's going to push back. The goal here is to don't ask one of your kids to read it, because they're either going to be too nice or they're going to be too mean, and it's not going to help you at all. The goal is to make your writing better, not to make you feel warm and fuzzy. Have you added too many details? Where do you need more? Where are they confused? I have a writing partner that lives in California. We were in the same honors creative writing program at Carolina, and during the pandemic, when we weren't sewing masks, we were emailing each other and writing and stuff, and we still do this. And I trust her because I know her questions and edits come from a desire to make my work better. I have another friend who is in a band and is a songwriter, and he will send me drafts of his songs. And he said that I notice when I text back, oh, I like it, that I don't actually like it. But when I blow up his phones with questions and comments, he knows I respect him and his song enough to make it its best. And he's correct. So just like in a marriage, just like in a friendship, there's a delicate balance. You want to find someone who's kind, but who can give you that constructive criticism that's often in the form of a question, or can you explain this? Or I want more of this. I want less of this. I'm now confused. I don't understand. Or in a business setting, I don't understand. You've said a lot of fancy business lingos. You are synergizing and opening the kimono and really, circling back. But also you said nothing. So find someone who won't be a yes man, but will actually wants your best. So I talk really fast. But because I'm the next slide is the in summary one. But in summary, that writing is scary and hard. If you open up an email and you don't know what to put, if you're saying, well, I'm sure y'all have all seen on Instagram those funny, this is what I would like to say, forget you and your stupid assignments, but you're like, per my last email, you have to, if you have that disconnect, that's not unique to you. It is scary. It is hard. You do have to sort of tuck back in your inner angst, but to try to reply in a way that is clear and is kind. But the habits that can help you get better is definitely read. Like if you do nothing else, read more and you will become a better writer. Write every day. That is the hardest one, but it's the thing. If you want to get better at the thing, you have to do the thing. We all know this. Embrace your sloppy first draft. Rewrite. Don't be content with the first pass at something. I actually recently edited a story I wrote in college for a manuscript I'm working on. I'm about 50,000 words into a manuscript I'm working on, and it's one of the stories in it is from when I was that I wrote in college, and it was in my honors thesis. It's published. Nope, it was horrible. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't. I'm a better writer now, and I like to think more mature. So I'm able to cut out whole sections like, well, that's a tangent that's unnecessary. It cuts into things. So don't be afraid to rewrite and get a partner. If you can't think of anyone, send me stuff. I can't promise that it'll be a quick turnaround. But I am definitely willing to ask questions, tell you to go down a different track, or recommend a book that say, hey, this reminds me of this book, go read it and you'll get better. And if you have any questions, this is the aforementioned QR code, which I recently found. One of my Facebook friends told me she hates them. And particularly hates them when they're on a computer, but I don't know how to get this to you. This seems easier to me than typing out a link. If you scan this, it takes you to my website and gives you stuff. I mean, not great stuff. It's like web pages, not cookies or anything. Yeah, just shake your head, Tiffany. I know. But with that, if you have any questions or concerns, or just want to tell me I'm awesome, then you can unmute yourself and do that.